Hello, welcome or welcome back. Now, I think it's pretty obvious from the background and looking at the borders that I love Frutiger Aero and its subgenres. There's nothing in this life that brings me more joy than the skeuomorphic, glossy, aquatic nature look of Frutiger Aero. When I was having trouble coming up with an idea for this video, I saw a video by Cozy Draws called I Turned 2000s Aesthetics into Cute Girls. It was a really good video, I recommend you watch it. The character designs look so pretty. But I was thinking for a bit, and then it clicked. I should do this video, but instead of 2000s aesthetics, it could be the subgenres of Frutiger Aero. In this video, I'm going to show you my process in designing these characters and show you some subgenres that fall under the umbrella of Frutiger Aero. Maybe, just maybe, you guys will love these subgenres as much as I do. Or you'll probably hate them. I don't know, but please like them. I know this video is titled Frutiger Aero subgenres, but I really wanted to draw Frutiger Aero as a character. If you at least watch my last video or you've seen my Instagram, you guys know that I absolutely love Frutiger Aero. Everything about it brings me nostalgia and joy in my life. I just love it so much, dude. If you don't know what Frutiger Aero is a web design / aesthetic that was very prominent in the 2000s to 2010s. It's most known for its skeuomorphic look, circular designs, and futuristic look. There's a reason why people call this web design the promised future we never got, and I honestly agree, man. I wish I had this. For this character's pose, I wanted to have her opening up a tab. Don't ask what tab she's opening, I wasn't really thinking that far. I included some little tidbits around that reference Frutiger Aero like orbs, the Microsoft logo on her leg warmers, 4-leafed clovers, a mouse hair clip, a flip phone, and a Frutiger Aero mouse tail inspired by those really cool Frutiger Aero mouses that I want so freaking bad. You guys don't understand how badly I want one, man. Oh my god. For the colors, I wanted her skin to be blue in reference to those Frutiger Aero people icons. And for her hair, I wanted to color it blue, fading to green as a little nod to Frutiger Aurora, another Frutiger Aero subgenre that focuses more on the Aurora visual. For what she's wearing, I gave her a jacket, shorts, and leg warmers with kind of chunky futuristic shoes. The colors I focused on giving her were blue and green cause those two colors are really popular and frankly the only two colors you often see in Frutiger Aero. The only exception for other colors in this design were red and yellow, which were on the Microsoft logo. I almost forgot to mention this, but there are also CDs incorporated into her design just to give her pigtails. Lastly, for the shading, I wanted to shade this character in a skeuomorphic look. I think this was honestly the best part in making this design, cause the shading in this glossy kind of look was a lot of fun to do and it really set this character apart from the other designs I made. And here is Frutiger Aero as a character. I wouldn't call her a human, I don't think humans have blue glossy skin, but maybe she's like a little internet buddy just hanging around your PC. But honestly, I think she turned out really cool. I really like the glossy look I gave her, it just gives that Frutiger Aero feel. But we gotta move on to the next characters, so let's move on to the next subgenre. Now, I love Frutiger Aero as much as the next person, but oh my freaking goodness, I love Frutiger Metro. Nobody could ever make me hate Frutiger Metro, dude. If you don't know what Frutiger Metro is basically Frutiger Aero's very close cousin. Frutiger Metro is another web design / aesthetic that utilizes a mostly flat vector design, but is very maximalist with details like vector-based shapes, stars, splats, music motifs, and a lot more. It was also very prominent in the 2000s to 2010s, but was more catering to a teenage demographic at the time. This web design is literally the best thing that's blessed my eyes in the longest time. I wanted this character to hold out an iPod, which was very popular in the 2000s and is seen with Frutiger Metro-like advertising. I also wanted them holding their hands to their headphones, signifying that they were listening to music. I struggled a bit to get this pose, but I think I got it in the end. For their clothes, I wanted to keep it pretty casual compared to Frutiger Aero's more futuristic outfit. I gave them jorts and a cutoff top with a pink tank top under the shirt. I like the shirt being loose cause I think Frutiger Metro has a very free and rebellious look and I thought that would fit this character pretty well. Also, this character just looks really chill, so I thought maybe, giving him the cutoff shirt would give him a more, chill vibe to them. I don't know how to say it, but that's basically the words I have for it. I also gave this character jorts, leg warmers, and a belt with a Domokun keychain and pretty normal shoes. For colors, I had to think very vibrant and colorful, you know, just like Frutiger Metro itself. I gave this character pink eyes and dark purplish hair, but I added lots of color to the locks. I even added a Frutiger Metro design to the hair because I thought it would look really cool, and you know what, I was right. It does look really cool. I love it. I wish I added Frutiger Metro face paint too, but it's whatever, man. I'm still really sad I didn't think about it in time. I obviously added a Frutiger Metro design to the shirt, and I really like how the design turned out. It was literally Frutiger Metro overload, dude. I didn't do anything special with the jorts or the shoes because I thought there would be way too much going on, but I kind of wish I added a little pattern to the jorts. For the iPod, I gave him a pink iPod because pink is the brightest color I can think of, and I think it would pair up really well with the orange shirt they have on. I didn't give as much shading compared to Frutiger Aero since Frutiger Metro is more flat and vector looking. However, I wanted to give them a really cool lighting to have it look like they're in a fun party, so I made a multiply layer and an add layer to have the whole character engulfed in shadow and have light come from the left side of them. And with that, here is Frutiger Metro as a human. I like to think they're pretty chill and just constantly listening to music, but at night they just go to all these fun parties and be wild. I really do love this design. I think it's really colorful and fun. I wish I added a bit more to it, but I still like how it turned out in the end. Let's move on to the next subgenre. So, I want to let you guys know that Vectorflourish is an umbrella term referring to two design aesthetics known as Vector Bloom and Vector Garden. The design aesthetic I'm mostly basing this character off of is Vector Garden, which is a design aesthetic that is more simplified and catering towards children like Frutiger Metro. Vector Garden is pretty similar to Frutiger Aero, usually defining nature and glossy texture sometimes. Vector Garden also shares the same motifs with Frutiger Aero, being a more flat vector look but utilizing a maximalist look also. So for a Vector Garden inspired character, I wanted her to have a more frilly, flowy kind of look to her. I really wanted her hair to look curly as well because Vector Garden has a lot of swirls in it, and I was thinking that for the coloring I could have a Vector Garden kind of pattern in her hair. I wanted to add a bunch of flowers and butterflies in different parts of her design since Vector Garden emphasizes nature. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was really excited for this design. The line art was looking so good, dude. But then everything started going downhill when I got to the colors. I wanted to give her a more tanned look, but looking at the skin tone now, she looks slightly orange. Not really orange, but slightly to the point where if I see it, I just can't unsee it. I actually really like the colors I used for the hair. I think it made the hair look really cohesive, and when I got to the shading, it looked really shiny. But if there's one part that really irritated me the most during this process, it was coloring the clothing. I was so conflicted on what to color the clothes, and I'm gonna be honest, I honestly can't talk about it. I'm really disappointed in myself. I think the one thing I just hate is that the clothing doesn't look cohesive to her hair. I think that's what I hate the most about it, but there's no words to describe how much I struggled with the clothing. Moving on, I gave her a slight neck tattoo with a Vector Garden kind of swirl. I'd like to imagine it's those fake tattoos that kids get that scrape off after 4 days. For the shading, I just decided to be a bit minimalistic and just shade with a purple multiply layer in the right side and put lighting on the add layer. As I said before, this worked really well with the hair, and it kind of made the clothes a bit better, but I still don't like it. And with all of that, here is Vectorflourish as a human. I really do like her design, but I still don't like the colors. They just don't look cohesive, but I still really like how she came out in the end. Let's move on to the last subgenre of this video. Dark Aero is kind of a minimalistic design aesthetic, but still has some of the same design choices as Frutiger Aero, using a skeuomorphic glossy texture. The huge difference with this design aesthetic, however, is how dark it is. Dark Aero primarily uses black with other colors as accents. Because Dark Aero has such a dark and minimalistic design, it's actually been used even after Frutiger Aero's decline in popularity in the 2000s, when flat design was on the rise. Dark Aero was primarily used for technology like smartphones, computers, and even cars, just to give the technology a bit of a more high-end look. So, for this design, since it is the most minimalistic subgenre out of all the others, I wanted him to just be standing with his pockets in his hands, just really nothing special. I also wanted him to wear sunglasses, cause another name for this design aesthetic is Frutiger Ego. So I thought giving him shades would make him look like he had an ego, but it ended up making him look mysterious instead. I added some cubes in his hair cause in one of my references it included cubes, so I thought that would be a cool little detail. I also added headphones and a CD belt. I'm not sure if Dark Aero is music related, but I don't care cause the headphones and the CD belt look really cool, so they are staying. I also gave him this thing on his legs. I'm not sure, I don't know what it is. I saw it in some Dark Aero imagery, but I honestly don't know what it is. Maybe comment if you know what this is, cause I honestly have no idea, but I thought it looked really interesting and I thought it would look like a really cool accessory to add. I think the best part I added in his design were these chunky round shoes. I'm not sure where I got the inspiration for it, but I really like them. They look kind of futuristic in this design. Now, I don't really have to explain much of the colors, cause I just had to use a lot of black, but I did use some blue and green as accents, cause I don't want this guy to be wearing all black, that would just be so boring. Especially with how laid back his outfit is. I gave the shirt this green and blue aurora, which I love so much. I honestly wish I had a shirt like this in real life, it looks really cool. I also gave him this Xbox color because I actually remember Xbox having some Dark Aero imagery and it looked really cool. Now for the shading, I actually had the most fun doing this part. I actually wanted to go a bit glossy with his accessories, but I also wanted to give a minimalistic shading to his hair. Apart from how cool the shading looked, I just had way too much fun shading everything. I shaded with the airbrush tool so I can balance between flat and glossy, and I think this was a really good idea. Cause the airbrush tool usually gives a glossy look sometimes, but sometimes it can also give a matte look when you don't use it as much. Overall, I was having a lot of fun with this design in general. Here is the finished design for Dark Aero. This design is probably my favorite out of all the designs in this video. He just looks so mysterious and cool, and the shading just went way better than I expected. This design was definitely a huge success. That's the end of this video. I honestly had so much fun designing these characters, they all turned out amazing. This was a really fun video to make, and I'm honored if you stuck around to the end of this video just to see the designs, or maybe if you just want to learn more about some of the subgenres of Frutiger Aero. Thank you so much for watching, make sure you're eating well and drinking lots of water. Take care, stay safe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!